Why you should not wait to buy a home on this episode of Major Money Matters. As I'm attempting to help families from time to time, people tell me that they're going to wait. Now, if there's a specific reason that you're waiting, that's fine, I guess. I don't have a problem with you waiting to purchase a home. But sometimes people give me objections to buying that don't make logical sense based on the statistics of what's going on. Now, if somebody's putting that up as an excuse for not buying, I'm cool with it, okay? People are adults, they do what they want to do. But this video really is for people who have these legitimate concerns about the market. And I want to talk through some of them just to give a different perspective about waiting to buy and what we've seen over the course of time. So the first one I'll talk about is people say, I'm waiting on prices to drop. Okay. Now, real estate or buying homes is a great long-term investment. My question when people say they're waiting for prices to drop is drop to what? What is your mark when you're going to say, hey, now I'm going to buy a house? What is the number that you want prices to drop to? Because really, you're not buying the market. You're buying one specific house. So you're looking for one house where you can get a good deal on that specific house. And if you try to time the market where you're waiting for prices to drop, you really don't know whether prices are at the lowest point or whether prices are actually dropped as far as they're going to drop until potentially 6 months to a year later, because prices don't drop in a straight line. Prices usually go down in a up and down manner where they trend downward over a short period of time. But real estate, for the most part, is a great long-term investment. So if you're waiting for prices to drop, you could be waiting on something that never actually happens. Let's take a look at this graphic. So Case-Shiller puts out a report every single month that talks about the trend for housing appreciation. Now, even with interest rates increasing at the fastest rate ever in recorded history this year, we're seeing still housing appreciating on average about 10% year over year. Some states are still seeing 20% appreciation. So the theory that you're going to wait for housing prices to drop and you're just going to swoop in and buy a house could end up being a false belief that you actually have. The second thing I hear people say is, I'm going to wait for interest rates to drop. Okay, cool. Drop to what number? What number would be reasonable that you think you would be ready to buy a house? Again, interest rates are one of those things that go up and down and up and down. So you could think that interest rates are going to go lower when they reach 6% or 5.5%, when really that's as low as they're going to get, and then they're going to go back up. So what number, just think about it, what number in your mind would be reasonable where you think interest rates would be good enough for you to jump in and make a purchase? I will tell you that if we look over the last 7 to 8 years, the average interest rates on mortgages have hovered at around 4%. If we strip out the anomaly of this year where interest rates increased dramatically, and we strip out the anomaly of interest rates being in the 2s in the 2021 year, then we would be looking at 4% on average on interest rates. Can you guess what most of my buyers who are buying right now, what interest rate they are going to pay in 2023? About 4.3%. Because most of my buyers are actually utilizing a 2-1 buy down that the seller has actually paid for. So they're buying houses, and in 2023, they're actually going to have a 4.3, 4.4 interest rate. In 2024, that interest rate will likely go up if they don't refinance, where interest rates go down and they can refinance. They're going to pay an interest rate at about 5%. So there are ways to structure a mortgage where your interest rate is actually lower than the prevailing rates right now. The third thing I hear people say is, I'm going to wait to save more for a down payment. Now, this actually might make a little bit of sense, but there's also the consideration for the fact that we have down payment assistance programs where on an FHA loan, you can get the 3.5% down that you need on an FHA loan as a down payment assistance, and that is on a 6-month forgivable grant. So it's really money that you don't even have to pay back. It's on a forgivable grant that's forgiven after 6 payments. So if you're waiting to save more money for a down payment, I guess in some situations, depending on your situation, that actually might work. But there are these other programs out here where you can actually get into a home, use the down payment assistance program for the down payment portion on your mortgage, but also use the seller paying your closing costs and move into a home for little to no money out of pocket. The fourth thing people tell me is, I'm waiting on the recession to hit. Well, let's take a look and think about that for a second. If you're waiting on the recession to hit, well, it's possible that the recession could hit you and you could be out of a job and not be able to buy a home because you don't have a job. But if we look at that on an economic perspective, when recessions hit, housing prices don't actually go down. There's only been one time in the last 7 recessions that housing prices have actually gone down. Take a look at this chart. The white line that you see is the trend line of the housing index, the average price for a home. That trend line, looking at the shaded portions of this graph, that shaded portion is where recessions are, or where the United States has been through recessions. If you believe that housing prices are going to go down just because we go through a recession, history says you're off base. And housing prices will continue to go up. I can tell you what does go down in a recession: interest rates. So if you're looking to get into a home, the best thing to do is to get into a home, see that appreciation go up through the recession, and then refinance as interest rates drop in the recession. So look, I understand, I get that buying a house is a huge commitment, okay? And we do our best to walk people through this and give people the right information to make the right decisions. And this is one method that we're using just to tell you that now is a fantastic time to buy a house, because many of our buyers are moving into homes without paying any money out of pocket on a VA loan, a FHA loan. If you're doing a conventional loan, you're going to have to do a down payment, but there are many loan programs out here that'll help you move into a home with little money out of pocket, and many sellers are actually paying closing costs. So if you're thinking one of these 4 things, you could be off base with reality, with what history has actually shown us in the housing market. Give us a call if you want our help, and we'll help you navigate this market. What you need is you need a lender who understands different products. We can help you there. You need a realtor who really understands how to structure deals and how to get concessions on products or on your purchase on your home. And then you need just the will to walk through it. It's going to take a little bit of guts, but if you have those 3 things, there's no reason why you can't get into a house in this market. See you guys next time on Major Money Matters.